I greenlogged the wilderness. Greenlogging, as many of you are aware, is the act of receiving every single unique item for a respective log. In total, there's currently 9 to 11 primary logs that people consider wilderness. There's Callisto / Ardio, Bedion Calvarion, Beninatis / Spindle, Revenants, Chaos Elemental, Chaos Fanatic, Crazy Archaeologist, Scorpia, and Elder Chaos Druids, which make 9 logs so far. Some people consider Last Man Standing and KBD to be wilderness. I consider them to be too. KBD is basically done, guys, come on. Moving on. There's 3 other sizable grinds which don't have their own log, which are the Teleport Anchoring Scroll acquired from Zombie Pirates, Dagon High acquired from opening Laren's chests, and the Eternal Glory grind. All of these I have completed. I mentioned all of that because I wanted to qualify a bit before expressing some suggestions and ideas I have. Firstly, I want to cover some of my likes and dislikes. The grind I disliked the most was definitely Ardio / Callisto. That's probably because it took so long and going for anti-PKs at those locations is difficult. I enjoyed nearly every aspect of the grinds in the wilderness. The first is the danger aspect. Risking my items and loot in the wilderness has always been pretty exciting. I don't like losing stuff, but I do like the risk. It's because of the risk completing things feels more rewarding. Aesthetics. For the wilderness, I really enjoy how it's like a lawless, dystopic place. It's very gray and dark, as if it's covered in ash. It would be nice if there were some brighter places though. This is pretty important because in its current and original iteration, the wilderness is a dark and gloomy place. Kind of reminds me of the movie The Road. I think it'd be a really good idea to thematically change that. If it's possible at all with the current engine, a toggleable reskin item could make the place a lot more appealing. I'd definitely pay big money for it. I wouldn't want to change its appearance for anybody who doesn't want that though. If it's not possible with the current engine, I at least hope it might be with future engine work, because there's definitely enough reward space there that doesn't change the game that much. People have discussed similar ideas with West Ardone. I kind of like the idea, but I also really like the idea of having it be optional for the wilderness or West Ardone. There's so much potential for exciting content here, and I really hope there's a paradigm shift in the community so this place gets more updates. Realistically, what the community might agree to is having boosted drop rates for various pets in the wilderness, specifically skilling pets. I like the idea of having rune rocks in the wilderness be the fastest to get the golem. I mean, a runite golem is up there, but it doesn't have a boosted rate that I'm aware of. Or having the trees in the resource arena be the fastest to get the beaver. Ents kinda suck, but having boosted drop rate there might be good too. I'd like to see boosted heron rates at either of the crab spots. The Rogue's Castle chests should drop the Thieving Pet Rocky. Getting it there should definitely be meta too. Instead of Fremenic stalls, maybe we could have another rune crafting option, ideally one which uses Noted Essence deep in the wild. This would give better odds for the RC pet. You'd probably want some type of cooldown too by running away from the altar before you RC again. This method would be pretty fast and very profitable, unlike the Mind Altar. We could even call it the Catalytic Altar. That'd be pretty dope. The agility pet should definitely be boosted at the Wilderness Agility Arena. It's very strange that the Penguin Agility course is meta. I think what Wilderness enjoyers want to see the most is vast expansion north, and we've seen some very interesting proposals from JMods. Here's the 2022 Game Jam that seemed very hype. Some of the stuff we've already seen come into the game, other stuff's been pulled but failed. It'd be very nice if there was some endgame content in the wilderness. A wilderness raid, a wilderness GM quest, there's so much more that can be done. I want to know more about this NPC manned by the Forgotten Cemetery next to some Anku. I want to know more about this building. Why does this area have a passive effect? Who lives/lives here? What's inside here? Or there? It was over 11 years ago I quit clanning after the clan I was in closed. I recently joined up with a new clan, Stormed the Block, that I'm really happy to be part of. I really never thought I'd ever join another PK PvP clan, but playing seasonal DMM alone just sucked so badly. And I really love seasonal DMM and even 345 DMM. So joined up with them because of DMM, but I have since learned that I have deeply missed multi-fights. Even after all these years, it's still some of the best content this game has to offer. With that said, multi-teams definitely need more multi-spots. Right now, there's only 3 main spots teams like to be if they want to fight other teams. That's south of Edion Cave, Rogue's Castle, and Callisto. The other multi-spots are less frequently used, and if they are used, it's used by smaller teams to typically hunt PVMers or solo PKers. We really need to encourage team-on-team action somehow. I recently wrote up a King of the Hill minigame. It would be on a new land, deep wilderness, where anybody can be attacked. The basic premise of it is to have your clan control the hill. If you manage to win 3 fights that are matched ops, gear, and food, or control the hill for 1 hour without challenges, you'll then be able to loot the King of the Hill, reward spoils. So basically, winning a fight counts as like 20 minutes. I won't bore you with too many of the details, but I do have a lot of ideas to prevent abuse and that type of thing. I might do a separate video on that. There definitely exists PVMers / PvPers who would willingly risk bank and multi if they had some type of odds like they do at Venenatus. These people could definitely be used to make more spots because they exist, and I am one of them. I really like a PVM boss that's more like a PvP encounter. I think this has been suggested by many different people, but I'm not really sure why Jagex won't go for it. It'd definitely bridge the gap between PVM and PvP. Could have like a low-leveled boss where it's nice and weak, and pretty much anybody could beat it. But then it would incrementally become more like a Megatron bot you'd see in LMS. I think that boss would definitely be the most fun boss in this game. Currently, as it stands, PvP is very difficult. It's very hard to gauge whether or not someone's improving. Having a humanoid boss that acts as a PvPer does would help with this. Or even like a human NPC. A real elo system somewhere in the game at LMS or the PvP arena would also be very helpful. One of the reasons why I think chess is so popular is because a lot of chess websites use elo rating systems. It just gives a valuable tool to players to gauge their growth, find out whether they've plateaued, to find out if they can overcome that plateau. I've played a lot of chess and I've plateaued at least 2 to 3 different times, and I had to try a few different ways to overcome that plateau. It gave the game more depth, and it definitely felt more rewarding for those reasons. It's pretty whack, we still only have 2 maps at Last Man Standing. I really like the idea of having Tutorial Island be a map. I really like an option to reskin the Wilderness map, maybe make it look more like Baroque. I'd pay quite a bit of GP for that option too. I'd really love to see an elo system at Last Man Standing that aids with first round matchmaking. I think to better aid that type of system, would need to see elo bots, the type you see at chess.com. I'd love to see the Vengeance Trinket as an item you'd spawn in with. I have quite a few reasons why to suggest that, but the primary reason is that fighting in DMM 345 has reached a new level of insane skill ceilings. These are my ideas so far on how we can make the Wilderness a better and more interesting place. I'd love to hear yours.